हरे कृष्णा। मदर हरे कृष्णा। जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरधारी। 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 यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमस्पराचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतीश डिवाइन ग्रेस अभयचरण भक्ति विधान स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमस्पराचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled deities, all glories to the assembled deities, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 49, Text 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Namah Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwaraya Yogaya Yoga Ishwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwara Ishwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam. Yes, let's go ahead. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwara Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwara Ishwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwara Ishwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gatam. Nama Krishnaya Shuddhaya ब्रह्मणे परमात्मने योगेश्वराय योगाय त्वम् अहं शरणं गता Nama obeisances Krishnaya to Krishna, Shuddhaya the pure, Brahmane the absolute truth, Parama Atmane the super soul, Yoga of pure devotional service, Ishwaraya the controller, Yogaya the source of all knowledge, Tvam you, Aham I, Sharanam for shelter, Gata have approached. Translation, Prabhu. I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the Supreme Pure, the Absolute, and the Super Soul, the Lord of pure devotional service, and the source of all knowledge. I have come to you for shelter. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami has translated the word Yogaya as unto Krishna, the source of knowledge. The word indicates connection and also the means to achieve something. As conscious souls, we have a connection with the Supreme Soul through bhakti or devotion. Through that relationship, we experience perfect knowledge of the Supreme Soul. Since the Supreme Soul is the absolute truth, perfect knowledge of Him means perfect knowledge of everything. As stated in the Mundaka Upanishad, Kashmin Bhagavo Vignate Sarvam Idam Vignate Bhavati. When the Absolute is understood, everything is understood. Thus, Lord Krishna Himself, by His spiritual potency, establishes our connection with Him, and that connection is the source of all spiritual knowledge. Thus, Acharya Sridhara, by his thoughtful translation, stimulates us to deeper understanding of Krishna conscious philosophy. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Sham हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपीकांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पवनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः। कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। The previous verse, Kunti Maharani's prayers were, for persons fearful of death and rebirth, I see no shelter other than you, your liberating lotus feet, for you are the Supreme Lord. In the previous verses, Kunti is praying, those who want to get out from this repeated cycle of birth and death, the only shelter is the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. The lotus feet of the Lord, shelter. In generally, when a child takes shelter of parents, so we have to take shelter of somebody in this material world. You have to take shelter of friend or parents. So, but ultimately, if it's not taken shelter of the Lord, it's not complete, it's incomplete. We can learn from the teachings of these great exalted personalities there through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want to become fearless of death, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus feet of the Lord, one has to take shelter. Because in this material world, we have attachment, like man manak. It says, man, we have to fix our mind on Krishna. Our minds may be distracted to many things, but we have to keep Krishna in our mind. Somehow or other, we have to fix Savayamana Krishna Padarvendra. We should you up all other thoughts and only think of Krishna. So for a conditioned soul, he's struggling in this material world. So in this next verse, it says, I offer my obeisance unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute truth, and the super soul, the Lord of pure devotional service and the source of knowledge. I have come to you for shelter. So one has to take shelter of a person who has taken shelter of the Lord fully. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upakdikshanti jnanas jnaninas tattvadarshina. A person who is free from all material desires, akinchana, material possession. 100% who is free from all this, one has to take shelter of this. But in this verse it says, I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute. Arjuna also prayers are there in the Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum, Aham, Astvam, Nishesar. Devarshi Narada Tata, Ashito Devalo Vyaso. Like that. The verse goes like that. Krishna is the supreme absolute. Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is the most pure. So in order to approach the pure, we have to become pure. The process is we become pure by coming in contact with the pure, the absolute truth. So Kunti Maharani is, the prayers of Kunti Maharani is full of bhakti, is full of devotion. If you want to learn bhakti, then we can understand through this Kunti's prayers. She says, I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute truth, and the super soul. First it says supreme pure and the absolute truth. The absolute truth is the Lord. Brahmeti, Paramatmiti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. The different phases of spiritual life. Brahman, realization, Paramatma, realization, and the absolute truth. And further it says super soul. The Lord of pure devotional service and the source of all knowledge. Pure devotional service. And the source of all knowledge. Pure devotional service, no material hankering. So when we take shelter of a pure devotee who has no material desires, he has only services to Krishna, that pure devotional service. And the source of all knowledge. In order to understand Krishna, we can learn from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Ultimately, one has to know Krishna. Bahunam janmante jnanavan mam prapatyante vasudeva sarvamiti samatma sudurlabha. Such a person is very rare. It takes many births of this knowledge. Then one can understand that Krishna is the absolute truth. I have come to you for shelter. So these are the prayers of Kunti. I offer my obeisance unto you, Krishna, the supreme pure, the absolute truth, and the super soul, the Lord of pure devotional service, and the source of all knowledge. I have come to you for shelter. Sridhar Swami has translated the word Yogaya unto Krishna, the source of knowledge. The word yoga indicates connection and also the means to achieve something. As conscious souls, we have a connection with the Supreme Soul through bhakti or devotion. So the example in Bhagavad Gita is given. There is two birds. One is the super soul, and one be the living entities. The living entities are eating the fruits. They are sweet or bitter. They are enjoying and suffering. But somehow they returns to the other bird with super soul, who is within everyone's heart. He becomes free from lamentation. And so in this translation, Sridhar says, Yogaya means Krishna, the source of all knowledge. The word yoga indicates connection to means to achieve something. As conscious souls, we have a connection with the Supreme Soul through bhakti. And how can we awaken our relationship with the Lord? That is through bhakti, by only devotion, only through devotion, by developing love for God. Through that relationship, we experience perfect knowledge of the Supreme Soul. Since the Supreme Soul is the absolute truth, perfect knowledge of Him means perfect knowledge of everything. It says, through that relationship, we experience perfect knowledge of the Supreme Soul. Since the Supreme Soul is the absolute truth, perfect knowledge of Him means perfect knowledge of everything. As stated in the Mundaka version, Kasmin Bhagwan Vignati Sarvamidam Vijnanam. When the absolute is understood, everything is understood. Thus, Lord Himself, by spiritual potency, establishes our connection with Him, and that connection is the source of all spiritual knowledge. Thus, Acharya Sridhara, by his thoughtful translation, stimulates us to deeper understand Krishna. Hare Krishna. Here it says. So we have manufactured shelter. I will like Hare Krishna. We have manufactured so many. I am to say shelter. To shelter of just like parent. A child is taking shelter of parents. A diseased person is taking shelter of the physician. A drowning man is taking shelter of a boat. So Prahlad Maharaj says, all these shelters are actually not shelter. The shelter is your lordship. If you neglect somebody, these shelters will not act. Different examples are given in Bhagavad Gita, one of the lectures 13-4, where Prabhupada says, we take shelter, the child takes shelter of a parent, a diseased person takes shelter of a physician, and a drowning man takes shelter of a boat. So Prahlad Maharaj says, all these shelters are actually not shelter. The shelter is your lordship. If you neglect somebody, these shelters will not act. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityakya Mam Ekam Sharano. Just surrender unto me, I'll free you from all sinful reaction. Because these sins are there in the form of seed, fruits. We are enjoying and suffering the results of our acts. So by taking shelter of Krishna, one can become free from sinful reactions. If you do not take care of a drowning man, the boat cannot save. If you do not take care of the child, in spite of presence of parents, child not be properly raised. If you do not take care of a patient, in spite of good physician and doctor, he will die. This is the point. So in this is giving a good example. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, unless we don't take shelter of the Lord, if you neglect, he says, all these shelters are actually not shelter. The shelter is your lordship. If you neglect somebody, these shelters will not act. This will not give protection. Ultimately, one has to take shelter. Srila Prabhupada also says, 0, 0 is 0. But you add 1, it becomes 100, 1,000, million, billions. Otherwise, it's 0. You add Krishna, keep Krishna in the center. In this prayer, Prahlad Maharaj also is giving the example. Yeah. The landlord knows as another apartment there may be in this building, but I do not know. But the proprietor of the building, he knows everything. Similarly, I do not know how things are happening with my body. How am I eating? They are being transferred into different secretion energies and distributed in different parts of the body. I do not know, I'm simply eating, but Krishna knows. Krishna knows. It's a good example is given. Like there's also a story which comes in one of the Puranas, not Purana, something like Jataka stories, Jataka tales, Jataka like comics, like Phantom, like that. In that one of the stories of that, the all the senses they got together. They said, "Why we are offering food to the stomach?" The finger is saying, "Let the finger eat." So they all became weak. The food should go to the mouth and then to the stomach, then the whole energy gets there. Like watering the branches is like compared to different. One has to water the root of the tree. Then the whole tree nourishes us. The source of everything is that Lord. Is a universe. The landlord knows as another apartment there may be in his building, but I do not know. But the proprietor of the building, he knows everything. Similarly, I do not know how things are happening with my body, how I am eating, and they're being transferred into different secretion energies and distributed in different parts of the body. I do not know. I am simply eating, but Krishna knows. Therefore, Krishna says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Panchamyanam Chaturvidam. Krishna is also helping you in digesting your food. That is also stated. Bhagavad Gita in one of the verse, 15th chapter, it says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Panchami Annam Chaturvidam. Krishna is also helping you in digesting your food. That is also stated. Suppose your digestive power is not working, that means there is something defect. But it can be put into order by Krishna. If a man is dying, he can be saved by Krishna, not the physician, not the medicine, because Krishna knows everything. So there are many examples, like Hitler, not Hitler, yeah, Hitler is not Hitler, sorry, Alexander the Great. He conquered all over, and then in the final moments, he came across a thief and arrested him. So the thief told, "What's the difference between you? I'm a small thief and you're a big thief." So Alexander got some realization, and he released the thief. But he told his close associates, during my final days, the 4 best doctors should be around me, world's best. And all the wealth, gold should be surrounded me. And my both hands should be open. So the moral of the story in this plan making is, hey, he had everything, but he had the best doctor, he had all the wealth, but nothing could be saved. There's many other stories also. There is one very in India's 4th richest person. He was saying, the doctor, give me some time. I will give you some money. I have some plans. But the time came and kicked him. What plans? Get off. So this plan making is going on all over, individually, collectively. Everyone is trying to lord over nature. In this example, it says, Krishna is also helping you in digesting your food. That is also states. Suppose your digestive power is not working, that means there is something defect. But it can be put into order by Krishna. If a man is dying, he can be saved by Krishna, not the physician. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna e Vishwas. Mare Krishna, Mare ke. Rakhe Krishna, Mare ke. If Krishna wants to kill somebody, nobody can protect him. If Krishna wants to protect him, nobody can kill him. Yes, yeah. Similarly, in this year, the different example is given. The landlord may be knowing the building apartments. Similarly, we don't know how the food is digested and energy, but Krishna knows this. We are eating. Krishna knows it. Another example is given. Even Krishna is helping in the digestion of food. If there is not working properly, that means defect. But it can be ordered by Krishna. If a man is dying, he can be saved by Krishna, not the physician. Different example of a landlord, the food, and what we eat. Like suppose a person, and then Physician cannot save, but the Lord can save us. Kshetram nam chapi mam vidim sarva kshetra. So even for maintaining your body, you have to take help for Krishna. You cannot independently maintain your body. Therefore, that is not. Therefore, Krishna says, Kshetra jam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. You can take off your body, but Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Tvad upikshitana. In the Bhagavad, there is a verse that my dear Lord, Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear Lord, it is not that because one has got his parent, a child has got his parents, he will be protected. Balasya neya sharanam pitrunasya. My dear Lord Narasimha, it is not that shelter of a child is the parent. So similarly, shelter of a patient is not the physician or the medicine. The shelter of a drowning man is not the boat or the big sea. In the here it says we can take our care of our body very nicely, but Krishna is taking care of everybody's body. If we see, we cannot see our own face. We have to need the help of a mirror, otherwise we become envious. Right? We cannot see our face. I can see. I have to see the mirror like that. I can see that face. Hare Krishna. So even everything is you can take care of your body, but Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Pradupekshina. So there are so many elephants in the African jungles. They are eating thousands of potent. Who is suffering? The gorilla is eating a hard nut, which cannot be digested, and it cannot be broken also. But it can eat it very easily. It's like very hard than the stone also like this. In the yes, yes, you can take off your body, but Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Yeah. If you see each other, if everybody is a different face, everybody's individual soul, like the different according to their activities. We don't see same films, physical personality same. Everybody is a different. You can take care of your body, but Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Tvad upikshitina. In the Bhagavad, there is a verse. My dear Lord Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear Lord, it is not that because one has got his parent, a child has got his parents, he will be protected. Balasya neha sharanam. So these examples are there. The best doctors are there. The child cannot be saved, but it's only by the mercy of the Lord only can protect. Krishna is taking care of everybody. Even in the womb of the mother, we are how protected by nature's arrangement 9 months. Nobody comes laughing. Everybody comes, all the waste products in the body. Imagine you put in a bag, suffocate. 9 months we are here. You see, you can take care of your body, but Krishna is taking care of everyone's body. Tvad upekshitina. In the Bhagavad, there is a verse that, my dear Lord Prahlad Maharaj, my dear Lord, it is not that because one has got his parents, a child has got his parents, he will be protected. Balasya neha sharanam Pitru Nashima. My dear Lord Narasimha, it is not that the shelter of a child is the parent. No, similarly, shelter of a patient is not the physician or the medicine. The two examples are given. If a child and a patient, even the best doctors are there. If he has to die, he has to die. Similarly, shelter of a patient is not the physician or the medicine. The shelter of a drowning man is not the boat or the big sea. So different examples are given. The boat, the man is taking care, shelter of the boat when he's drowning. A child is taking care of the parents, and a patient, a diseased person, take a passion. But here it says, even the best cannot be saved. It's only because of Krishna only. The food can be digested, like how and Krishna is supplying all living entities. So we have manufactured so many, I mean to take shelter of, just like a parent, a child is taking shelter of parents, a diseased person taking shelter of the physician. A drowning man is taking shelter of a boat. So Prahlad Maharaj says, all these shelters are actually not shelter. The shelter is your lordship. If you neglect somebody, these shelters will not act. This will not give protection. So nice. Different examples, very detailed explaining. So we manufacture so many, I mean to say shelter, Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Shelter of, take shelter of, just like a child is taking shelter of the parents, a diseased person taking shelter of the physician, a drowning man is taking shelter of a boat. So Prahlad Maharaj says, all these shelters are actually not shelter. The shelter is your lordship. If you neglect somebody, these shelters will not act, this will not give protection. There's also a verse where it says, now I'm, let my mind like the lotus, yeah. Like now I'm quite young, so I can remember Krishna. Let my mind dwell in at the lotus stem of the lotus feet of the Lord. Yeah, there's this particular species which goes and dives in the lotus stem and it becomes entangled like that. Similarly, when you're quite young, you can remember Krishna. At the time of death, all kappa pitta vayu will be there. We cannot remember Krishna. Says, here also it says, actually, tavad vibo tanu brahman tvadupeksha. If you do not take care of a drowning man, the boat cannot save. If you do not take care of the child in spite of presence of parents, the child will not be properly raised. If you do not take care of the child in spite of presence of parents, child will not be properly raised. And if you do not take care of patient in spite of good physician, doctor will die. This is the point. So Krishna is there within the body. Not only I am seeing, I am occupier and Krishna, the Kshetrajam. He is the owner. I am proprietor of my body. You are the proprietor of your body. But Krishna is the proprietor of my body. Your body or everyone's body. So the same example. Here it says, he is the owner. I am proprietor of my body. I am proprietor of my body because I know what's happening in my body. I don't know what's happening in others' body. I am proprietor of my body, like we are now here, but our mind may be somewhere else. Right? I may be knowing what's going in my mind, but I may not know what's going on other mind. Like everybody has a different view. Say, I am a protector of my body. You are the proprietor of your body, but Krishna is the proprietor of my body, your body, or everyone's body. So the same, there is a landlord, the proprietor of all the house. But I am the occupier of this particular room only. I have nothing to do with the others. Now one should know, Kshetrajna, this knowledge. Kshetrajna. One should know this soul, the super soul. I don't know why in this it says aside, who's making that sound? Stop it, Prabhu is saying. Hare Krishna. In this lecture it comes anyway. Kshetra Kshetrajna Jnanam. One should know this soul, the super soul, this body. One should know this soul, the super soul. One should know this soul, the super soul, this body. Three things. One should know this soul, the super soul, and Bhagavad Gita also explains of 5 topics. He says one should know these 5 topics: Ishvara, Prakriti, Karma, Kala, and the Supreme Lord. They are all interrelated. One should know this soul, the super soul, this body. Similarly, one should know what is the material world, the creator, and the occupier. We are living entities. We are simply occupier. But there is a creator, that is God, Krishna. And this material world is made of matter. Anything we see in this material world is made of matter. Anything, like suppose this wood, the ultimate source, it comes from a tree. And the tree comes from a seed. So who is the seed giving father? Like that. He says, one should know the soul, the super soul, this body. Similarly, one should know what is this material world, the creator and the occupier. We are living entities. We are simply occupier. But there is a creator, that is God. And Krishna, that is... But there is a creator, that is God, Krishna. And this material world is made of matter. This is knowledge. Anything matter without the touch of the spirit does not move. Like the car is moving because of the driver. There are many other cars which doesn't move because there is no driver. Similarly, this body is moving because of the soul. So ultimately, it says here that we are simply occupier, but there is a creator, that is God, Krishna, and this material world is made of matter. This is knowledge. Not to mix up that everything has come automatically. There is no God, there is no living entity. This matter is everything. This is all nonsense, but this knowledge is going on. This is taken as knowledge. But the intelligent should know who has created this material world, this cosmic manifestation, why it is created, what is relation between the creator and the occupier, what are the ingredients, how it is created. This is knowledge. Without this knowledge, everyone is a fool. Therefore, Krishna says, don't be falsely proud of so-called knowledge. This is knowledge. Try to understand who is the creator of the universe, why it is created. Yeah. So modern education teaches one to work hard. So eating, sleeping, defending that knowledge is given. But here it says the intelligent person should know who is intelligent, who has created this material world, this cosmic manifestation, why it is created, what is the relationship between the creator and the occupier. Three things is who has created this material world, this cosmic mind, why it is created, what is the relationship with the creator and the occupier, what are the ingredients, how it is created. This is knowledge. This is without this knowledge, everyone is a fool, rascal. Krishna's Prabhu's words. That is knowledge. Kali Yuga people is manda sumanda matayo. People are not interested. Manda sumanda, it says. Very unfortunate. Their duration of life, their memory, bodily strength, everything is declining. All the good qualities they are not interested in spiritual life. But here it says one has to know this knowledge. So reading of this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, discussing about this knowledge is very important in our spiritual path. The more we absorb in hearing and chanting, reading of this, that is knowledge. Don't be falsely pride. So that's why Prabhupada gave these programs, reading of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Morning there should be class like a sandwich. In between you do other services. Yes. Though don't be falsely proud. This is knowledge. Try to understand who is. In other words, the temple is a place where education is given, like that. Temple. Also, it says we have to have festivals. Festivals, when there will be more festivals, then the temple will be, there will be life. There will be programs like that. This program, and then there should be a lot of devotees. Different one. Then there it will be joyful. Why are they occupying different points? Who is why it is created? What are the occupiers? Why they are different? Different types of 8,004,000 different forms. Why are they occupying different forms? Why not in the same form? This is knowledge. But did not know there is an occupier, there is a proprietor. The occupier is changing room from this room to that room. Or the soul is transmigrating from one body to another. And the whole thing is controlled by the proprietor. So there are different varieties of forms. Why not in the same form? This is knowledge. But they do not know there is the occupier, there is a proprietor. The occupier is changing the room from this room to that room. Or the soul is transferring from one body to another body. And the whole thing is controlled by the proprietor. So there are different varieties of species of life. 8,004,900 million size. There's gel, water. There are trees. They're non-moving. They're staying in one place. There are birds, aquatics. In this it says, why are they occupying different forms? Why not in the same form? This is knowledge. This is knowledge. But they do not know there is the occupier, there is a proprietor. The occupier is changing room from this room to that room. Or the soul is transmutating from one body to another body. And the whole thing is controlled by the proprietor. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sri Krishna. The proprietor of all the planets, all the apartments. This is knowledge. Otherwise, one is in ignorance. That is not. However, he may be falsely employed. MSc, DSc, TSc, all nonsense. Because you do not know what is that. Who is the proprietor? Who is the occupier? That you do not know. Tat Kshetram. The different types of body: dog's body, cat's body, human body, tree body, fish body, demigod body, insect body, bird's body, and Krishna is explained Kshetram. These are all. And then it's why Darwin says man came from monkey, like that. Says, to increase the attachment to the Lord, we have to take shelter of Him. Mad Ashraya. How do you take shelter Mad Ashraya of the Lord? You take shelter of that person who have taken complete shelter of the Lord. How we should take shelter, it says here. To increase the attachment to the Lord, we have to take shelter of Him. Madasha, take this shelter. But you may say that the Lord is not in front of us. How do we take shelter of Him? It's a very important point. So Madasha means that we take shelter of the Lord, or you take the shelter of that person who has taken shelter of the Lord. Madashraya, those who do not anything else but the Lord. Their only business is they have nothing else. They only know the Lord. The Lord is there, and Jiva is there, and the object of love is the God. He says, so Madashraya means that we take shelter of the Lord, or you take the shelter of that person who has taken shelter of the Lord. Two things they say. You take shelter of the Lord, or you take shelter of that person who has taken shelter of the Lord. Those who do not anything else but the Lord, they have taken complete shelter of the Lord. You have to take shelter of such person. Tad vidhi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya upaktikrishyaniga. Those who take shelter of the Lord, they are seers of the truth. How is that? Who takes shelter of the Lord? The devotees of the Lord. Who else will take? And the Lord says, Bhaktya mam abhyani. Only the devotees can understand the Lord, not the empirical scholars or mental speculators or the yogis or no, those who engage in fruit. So only by devotion one can know. Like that. One has to take shelter of the Lord, who is fully and who knows nothing else, that he only knows his connection with the Lord. Or we have to take shelter of the Lord. Two things are there. The teachings of the Bhagavad Gita are there. Right? We have to increase our attachment to Krishna. So even anything, if you do business, you have to learn from that person. If you associate with a businessman, you become a businessman. You associate with a drunkard, you have to associate with drunkard. So one has to associate with a sadhu. Sadhu means sat. Sat. He is connected with the sat, eternal, not temporary, eternal. Sat Chid Ananda. His only business to know Krishna. He is free from all material. So one has to take shelter. So here it says here things in the supreme pure, the absolute truth, super soul. And often I come to your shelter. Is source of all knowledge. Is the source of all knowledge. One has to take shelter of the Lord and his devotees. Any comments? Any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think the battery is charged in that show.
Thank you for the class, Prabhuji. My question is, when persons live in the temple, people live in the temple, and some devotees live outside the temple. Is there a difference? Is there a difference in the amount of, like, whether or not you please the Lord? Is there a difference? And if so, what is the difference?
Prabhupada said you have to live in the association of devotees. You have to live in the association of devotees. Prabhupada said like Arjuna also was a Kshatriya. He was a fighter. He was doing his duty, but he was Krishna conscious. Bhakti Vinod Thakur also sings a song that Grehe Theke Vane Theke Sada Hari Boludake. Either you live in a house or in a forest, wherever you chant the name of Lord Krishna, always think of Krishna. So we have to think of Krishna and render service. So Prabhupada says, you come and render some service and be Krishna conscious. When you render service to the Lord, you become attached to the Lord. Like it's very important to live in the temple also, because we have to get this experience also. Because temple is a place where the Lord is the center, actually. Lord is the temple. But temple, there is program from morning to night. Temple means where there's life. Temple means the Lord is there, his devotees are there. If the Lord is there, no devotees are there. The temple has, there's no life, right? There's both things there. The Lord is there, the devotee is there. Devotee is there, Lord is there. Temple is the place where we can elevate our consciousness. Temple is very clean, temple is very pure. The Lord is worshipped all the day 7 times. In the house, you're just little reluctant, like you take yourself little, yeah. But there are household that Prabhupada also says, household also can become a sannyasi, he says. Though he's living in household life, he's detached, he's being attached to Krishna. Also there. Both ways appreciation is there, but they should come to the temple, associate with the devotees. And devotees in the temple also should be an example for them, like that. They should maintain the standard of purity, like that. Brahmachari ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, Sannyas ashram, they recommended in this case. It's a very high stage of life, brahmachari. When you see a brahmachari, you know this person is following the principles very nicely. Brahmacharis don't hide. They be face to face like that. They change their only business to glorify Lord. Like that. He's more absorbed in preaching the message of God with heart, body, mind, and soul. He's fully, his kaya, manasa, vacha, he's a Hare Krishna. So chanting of the holy name of the Lord, like in this board, it's very nice example is given like that. Strict like that. But Srila Prabhupada said we have temples, we have centers created all over the world. People should come and take benefit from temples. But temple also should be an example like that. Now we don't have manpower to maintain the temple also like that. There's so much things there like that slowly. But still it's going on. Srila Prabhupada said this movement will be going on 10,000 years. It's beyond our limit perception how it's going on. So programs are going, festivals are going on like that. Temple is very nice. You can, in association of devotees, it becomes more powerful. But the devotees also should be serious in cultivating Krishna consciousness. They should be well versed in the scriptures and devotionals. They should be fixed in devotional service. It says when you see a devotee, you remember of Krishna, an exalted devotee person of Krishna. I don't say this. I don't have any experience, but still, Temple life also I've led, and household also life is there. But in temple life, you household life, you become little reluctant. You can do something. You're not can be diverted to many things. Yeah, you have to work very hard to maintain yourself. All the time, energy goes. But he does it everything for Krishna. Then it's good. Everything. Maru Vira. That's what duty of parents. One should become a parents. One should become a teacher. He can save his dependent from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So house also is a temple if its whole family member become a devotee of the Lord. But such examples are very rare. Husband, wife, both devotees like that, and children. Like that. It's very difficult to find such like. And temple also is very live when there's program, Kirtan, Mangalarti. During my time, and when I was in Chicago, there's Murari Prabhu, there was Revati Nandan Prabhu, Jashoa was his name, Jagannath. There was Abhimanyu Prabhu, Jitendra Prabhu. Many devotees were there at that time. And many devotees used to visit like that. So, and the Kirtan also, then it's life in Kirtan, then you also feel joyful. You become very enlivened. There's life in program, then you feel life. There's life in Bhagavatam, you feel life. There's Bhagavad Gita. It says, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi. Who has life, he can preach like that. So here he says, very clearly says, one has to take shelter of the Lord and is representative of Lord. Two things. Who has taken completely shelter of the Lord. Like that. So sadhu sang, sarva shastra kai, sadhu, 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 sadhu. Sadhu means who is connected with Sat. Certainly is no other business. The more we are attached to Krishna, the more we are free, detached from all other material conception. In any stage of life, we can become Krishna consciousness. But temple is a place where we can become more aware of Krishna. Like we cannot do something wrong here because you are there, I am there. But when your door closed, nobody is there. Behind the door, nobody knows what's doing. Right? Hare Krishna. Kali Yuga it is. Any comments, any questions? You'd like to say something more, Prabhu? Yes. Sorry.
Not to be too personal or anything like that, or self-centered or self-interest, but if you find yourself more distracted from what you consider your service, like being in the temple, like you feel more distracted from your preaching or book distribution, what's the proper way to secure yourself outside to keep that shelter, because you feel like it's better for you to live outside the temple. So what's the good way to secure that connection?
Your question is that you're distracted or what's the life living outside and in the temple like that, right? It comes to the same boiling point here. Like if you, this Maharaj Chandramouli Maharaj, one should be strong enough in the programs, morning program. Then the whole day, if he's fixed in, then the whole day will be go nice like that. So when we are not fixed in this, we are distracted to other things. When we are not fixed in chanting Hare Krishna mantra, become distracted. But how can we be, if you like one stick breaks easily, bundle of sticks cannot break easily. If all the devotees have one focus to serve Krishna with no other intention, personal motivation, then it becomes more enlivening like that. But if you say, if you go out, you have to work hard to maintain you have to work more hard. You have to take shelter of Lord. So it's that ultimately it comes to the leaders, you know. Leaders should be concerned, like we said, the rulers should be concerned of the citizens like that. And all. So leader has to be concerned of the dependents, and dependents also should follow the authorized thing. Yeah, the mind will always say to go out, go out, go out. But if you go out, then you will be in more trouble. Like, but we have to create an atmosphere also in the temple, so it will be conducive for devotional service. Condition. There should be association, good association, like that. No personal motivation like that. And sadhu, we have to take sadhu sang, elevated devotees come here, always associate with them, take their guidance. Now present all over, like mostly its congregation has expanded. They are doing the devotional temples. They become like there. We have to maintain the temple. Some Prabhu also said you have to maintain the temple. You can maintain it. Previous it was three things were emphasized more. Devotees were going book distribution, Harinam, Prasadam, like that. Yes. Just doing these three things also, we can go home back to God. So you need good association, good association, good association. Otherwise you'll be distracted very easily. Right. More? Hare Krishna. Anything? Thank you. Srimad Bhagavad Puran ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada.